Do you have a desire to be your highest self, to be the highest expression of yourself in this incarnation? That is certainly a desire and an intention that I hold for myself. And it's something that is central to my very being. And the clients I work with also, I tend to attract clients that are also on this journey. You know, when it comes to being your higher self, to reclaiming that, because I say reclaiming, because it is the true self, it is our true essence. We are already that. We are just disconnected from it, or we have the illusion of disconnection from that because this reality that we live in has been designed to sever us from our true selves. It's been designed to corrupt our organic selves, our templates, our bodies, with all these lies and illusions and spells and fears about the self, which keep us from, well, it keeps us from actually incarnating fully into the body. So at birth, we should go through a process of incarnation as we sort of from birth growing, we should be parented and taught how to bring the soul fully into the body so we can connect to the true self. So we can experience life in joy, in bliss, in connection, in adventure, as it is meant to be in the organic template. But instead, we are severed from that and we are programmed with lots of anti-life, anti-human beliefs that make us think we are not enough, we are less than. And in order for us to be able to really survive in this harsh environment, we numb out, we distract ourselves. There's lots of things that happen. We don't process our trauma because we're not taught how to, and it all gets blocked inside of the body, which means that we don't connect to the body, we don't connect to the true self, and we are not our highest self. So I say reclaim again because we are already that. And it's a healing journey that we go on to reconnect back to that. So there's lots of stuff out there that say, do this one thing, say these 4 words and you will magically heal, but that is just not truth. My channel is for people that are truly on that path of healing, that are truly on that path of reconnection, that truly desire to reclaim the true self, that are committed and devoted to their healing, that take responsibility for their healing. It's not our fault that we have been programmed with all these anti-life, anti-human programs that have corrupted our realities, distorted our realities, and stopped us from connecting to the true self and kept us in these misery programs. This is why we look around, there's so much stress, anxiety, illness. It's because of this disconnection from divinity, from the true self, from source, which is our life force. So I work with people that are devoted, that understand that this is a journey so whilst it's not our fault, it is our responsibility. No one else can do it for us. I work with my clients and I do not heal them. I open the door and I invite them in to the healing. So yes, I make it simpler. I make it easier because I have tread that path and I can help them to reconnect back to them. But it's up to the client to take responsibility and to take those steps. So my channel is for people that are on that journey of mastery, as I am, that have a desire within them to reclaim the highest self, to be the highest versions of themselves in this lifetime. So one way that we can do that is to bring into our awareness, is to understand that every single day we are being gifted from the universe an opportunity to reconnect back to the true self, an opportunity to do our healing, to see within ourselves that which we haven't seen before, that what we have been blinded to. Those subconscious programs, traumas, emotions that have been buried within the subconscious, and they're buried within the subconscious because during childhood we're not taught how to process these emotions, these traumas. We don't have the tools. We don't have many adults around us that are emotionally and spiritually immature in order to guide us through that. And that again is not their fault, it's because they also haven't had those role models neither, because of the reality we've been born into. So it's not our fault. We have to take responsibility for it. So we've been blinded to a lot of those stuff. But as we realize that the universe is always giving us a gift every single day, and it's giving us a gift because the universe is holographic and it's reflecting back to us that which is within our own templates. You know, when we watch it, so we can understand this easily when we think about the fact when we watch a movie with a friend or somebody and we watch the same scene, but yet we have different interpretations of it. We connect to it different. We have different perspectives. It's because those perspectives, that connection, that where we are interpreting what we are seeing is through our past programming. It's through our unrepressed traumas and wounds. For example, let's say we have been cheated on in this life and we are watching a scene where someone is cheating. Often the person that's been cheated on will feel a lot of negative emotions towards that person because it's reflecting back to them some past pain. It's triggering a wound inside. Whereas if you'd been on the other foot and you had been the one that had been through an experience of cheating, then you'd often feel empathy and compassion for that person because you'd understand the energies that are in play in those dynamics. So we are seeing always a reflection back of the wounds, the traumas, the triggers within our body. And the real gifts that are being given to us every single day are those moments, those interactions with our friends, with our lovers, with our colleagues, with strangers that actually feel uncomfortable, that create some kind of resistance within us, because that's when it is hitting on an unprocessed wound, a trauma, something with inside of us that we need to bring into our awareness, we need to sit with, and we need to allow it to be discharged from the body. So when we're going through our day, we can start to pay attention. We can start to take note of those interactions that don't feel good in the body. Now, we don't need to understand it with the mind. So we don't want to block ourselves. We just need to at first come into awareness of the interactions that don't feel good and take note. That is a point to be like, something's there in my energy field that needs to be healed and processed. You know, often what we want to do is run from those experiences, or we want to project it onto another. We don't want to see what is right in front of us. You know, I had this experience recently traveling with a friend for 7 weeks. So we were together a lot, and she wasn't sleeping. So she was really tired and just not her best self. And she wasn't very sociable. And, you know, the interactions at times felt for me really uncomfortable. I could feel this energy and it was triggering all these feelings inside of me. And at times when I would say certain things, when I was trying to be nurturing, kind, it wasn't always met with a response that felt to me good. It felt, and I started to become aware of all these feelings where I feel like, oh, I've done something wrong. It was bringing up all these feelings like, have I done something wrong? Am I bad? Am I wrong? I'm not good enough. And I was realizing it was reflecting back to me that I still had within inside my body some roots of not feeling good enough. You know, this is a deep wound for the whole of the collective. And this is a wound that, again, I really focus on healing in my own body and my own template and with the clients I work with. And it is something that, you know, I've healed a lot of this, but it goes deep and it runs through our ancestral line. And we are actually healing it for ourselves and for our ancestors as well. We're here doing that work right now. So it's not something that just goes overnight, but it really give me that opportunity to reflect and see, okay, I've still got that inside of my body. I still need to bring that more into my awareness to heal those layers. Now, at first, I just didn't want to be there. I wanted to run. I wanted to get out of that place. I just wanted to be on my own. But I could realize that resistance was just the resistance to my own trauma that I had to face and I had to sit with. So I started to take note of that. I started to realize I was being given a gift from the universe and I started to be grateful for it. And then I started to just feel it in my body. So rather than going to my mind and try and work out, well, why did I feel wrong? Why did I feel bad? Why was this energy making me feel all of those things inside of my body? Rather than go into the analytical mind, which we can get so trapped in, I went into the body. So what we need to do is take note of those points where we feel resistance and then if we can't do it in that moment, because often we can't do it in that moment, we make a note of it and we make a date with ourselves later to feel it in the body, because actually it's a part of us that doesn't feel good enough. It's a part of us that feels bad, that feels wrong, that feels like it's not enough, which is the programming of this matrix. And it feels abandoned, it feels rejected. So it's that part that reacts to the wound, and it feels abandoned, it feels rejected, and it needs to be seen. It needs to be held. It needs for us, from our awareness, from our consciousness, to come into um contact with it, to just be with it. So we make a day to be with it. And later on, we can just sit on our own in stillness, in presence with the self. We can close down our eyes. We can take some deep breaths so that we bring ourselves back. We can even say to ourselves, I like to say to myself, I'm calling back all of my energy. I'm calling it back from any time, any place, any being, any event, all back to the self, to be with the self. And I focus on the breathing. As we focus on the breathing, and often if we're not used to this practice, the mind will be going 100 to the dozen, but we just have to bring ourselves back. We can't just do something once and expect we're going to be a master at it. We won't go to the gym and just pump a weight once and expect to have muscles. We've got to keep doing this practice. But as we keep doing this practice and bringing ourselves back, then we go into stillness, connection, and presence with the self quicker, easier, and we can start to feel into the body. So then we just want to close our eyes, feel into the body. And as we're feeling into the body, we can just say to that part of ourselves, we can invite it forward. We can say, look, we can say, hello, part. I want you to know that I am here with you. I recognize you today. I saw you, I felt you, I heard you, and I'm inviting you to come forward. You are safe. It's safe for you to show yourself. I am just here to be with you. So we want to reassure that part that we're just here to be with it. We're not here to fix it. We're not here to, because actually it fears that it's already bad and it's wrong. So if we come with the energy of being here to fix it, well, we're going to actually repel that part of us. It's going to go into resistance and it's going to hide. So actually at the beginning, we're just here to be with it, to feel it in the body, because it needs to be felt. It needs to be held. And we can feel, as we start to tune into the body, we can start to feel where that part is in the body. Perhaps we feel a tension, perhaps we feel a pain or something, and we can just put our attention on that part of the body and just intend to send love to it. Just intend to be with it, to hold it. And that is all we do to start with. And we need to do that over and over again until that part starts to feel ready to be transmuted, to be moved through the body. And we can work with that part. So this is a really simple way of starting to reconnect back to those parts of us so that we can start to move those, we can start to transmute, alchemize those energies and start to move them out of the body. So what does it really mean to heal? That is our start. And what does it really mean to heal? Well, it means that we are a soul inside of the body and we are in remembrance of ourselves. We're in complete connection to ourselves as a divine being and to source, to divinity. Most people think that they are a soul inside the body, but most people's souls are not inside the body. They inhabit the body from the neck up. They are trapped in a prison of the mind. And actually, the soul can't get into the body because of all the unprocessed wounds and traumas, all those shadows. And we have to go through a process of bringing those into the light so that we can be with them, so that we can transmute them out of the body, so that we can make space in the body for the soul to then come in. Once we make space, there is no thing in space But when we make space, it's not that there is a thing, there is spirit. Spirit, our own divinity, our own soul rushes in. This is a process of reconnection that I've been on for many years, that I do with my clients, to bring the soul back into the body. And we do that by doing that healing. We cannot bypass that stage. We cannot just use positive thoughts to bring the soul into the body. We cannot do it. We can delude ourselves that we are doing that, but we are not doing it. We have to integrate the soul. We have to do the work. We have to integrate the shadow in order for us to really move into the body, in order for us to embody and become our highest expressions. So, how do I do that? Well, I've obviously gone through that a little bit. It's awareness. Awareness is key. We have to start becoming aware of our shadows. We have to start becoming aware of those wounds and those subconscious programs. We're making the unconscious conscious. That is what I do. I unearth the unconscious and I bring it into the conscious. That's what I'm becoming a master of, and I continue to focus on bringing everything into awareness. That's key. That's number one. And we do that with the gifts that we are handed every day. When we interact with our lives that way, well, we start to live. We wake up. We start to bring meaning into our lives. If we are not interacting with our lives with any awareness, then really, I would say we are asleep. We are slaves to our subconscious programs. In fact, Carl Jung had quite a famous quote, which I love, and he said, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives, and we will call it fate. But it's not fate. Exactly. We will call it fate. So until we become aware, so key number one is being aware. So when you're going through your interactions today, become aware where you feel uncomfortable, where you feel triggered, you don't need to understand it. That is the key. That is the key. And it's the first step. And the rest of it starts to unfold naturally. This is something that we have to practice daily through devotion and commitment. We start to realize that not even that we start to realize, we have to make a vow to ourselves that we are going to be the gatekeeper of our reality, that we are going to stand as the authority of our reality, which means being 100% responsible for everything within our reality, for our creations or our co-creations with spirit. So we have to, so we're not deflecting and blaming others for the way that we feel. Like I say, I give you that example of myself. It would have been so easy for me to blame my friend and say, well, you're ruining my experience because you're moody. But that is not truth. That is a reflection. And I had to really sit in my own authority, my own responsibility. I made a vow to myself that I would take 100% responsibility for myself. And it's easy to do that when we're not being triggered, right? And the real initiation, the real growth and expansion comes when we do that, when we are being triggered. So I had to really sit in that and go deeper and do that work. And I do it often through meditation, through breathing, through just being in my own presence, in stillness and connection. And that can be really difficult to do. I couldn't always do that. It's been a journey. I would find that really difficult to do. And I've had to train myself to do that, train my mind, train my brain, train my body to go into those states, train my nervous system. And I've done that through my own unique blend of hypnosis and meditation, where I create hypnotic meditations to do that, to actually lead me into a space where I could start to expand in that stillness and that presence, so that I could start to train myself to go into those spaces. And now I can do that without guided hypnotic meditations, but I still use them because they're so powerful and connecting. But I can now do that by just sitting down, closing my eyes. As soon as I close my eyes, I'm going into presence, stillness, connection with the self. But I do that with my clients through hypnotic guided meditation, so we can start to retrain the brain and the mind to do that, so that we can start to connect to those parts of us and really start that healing work. I invest in my growth and my expansion. It is central to my life. I used to spend so much money on alcohol and drugs and just nothing really, nothing that really give me anything of true worth and value. But I always invested in my growth. Still, even when I was doing that, I always knew that investing in the self was growth. You know, I've had people reach out to me before. I once had someone reach out to me and say a husband was suffering from addiction to alcohol, and he wondered how much it would be to have some sessions with you. And when I said the sessions, I didn't say, you know, and I said, you know, we need to at least have 4. In fact, now I say to people, we need to at least have 7 sessions. You need to be committed to this process. And then after that, we start that journey, we go deep, and you have all the tools and all the resources to continue doing that long after we stop working together physically. But the response back to that was that he said, no, he wasn't spending that money on himself. And can we see how we'll spend the money on things that harm the body, on the drink, on the alcohol, but we've been programmed not to make ourselves valuable and worth our time, our money, our investment. Now, it doesn't have to be that we're investing loads of money in ourselves. You know, we don't have to be doing loads of training courses, but it can help. You know, I certainly do learn that way through working with others that have tread the path before me, but it's also experimental. It's also an experience within the body. I learned through my own experience, through awareness, through participating in my life, through some of the things that we've just been through making myself a priority, through giving myself time to go into these spaces and connect to the self. So investing in our growth, it should be key. It has to be key if we want to reclaim our highest expression. You know, if that is the path that we are on, which is certainly the path that I am on, we have to cultivate a higher relationship with the self. That is the path of reconnection. You know, that is the path that I've been on. That is my program that I do with my clients. It's a journey of reconnecting back to the true soul self. And in reconnecting back, we are healing. We are healing all the things that allow us to abuse ourselves. We're healing all those harsh, critical thoughts in the mind, all those toxic spells and programs that have been put onto us. And the key one that I work on is that not enough, not worthy, feeling abandoned, feeling rejected, not seen, not valuable. That is such a insidious mind virus, body virus that's been put onto us. It allows us to have a very a negative relationship with the self. So we have to cultivate a new relationship. We do that by reconnecting, by connecting back to the soul, bringing it back into the body, connecting back to source. So we're creating a higher relationship with the self, with the body. We're going into reverence with the self. We're creating a higher relationship with the divine. And in doing those, we start to heal, come back into wholeness, and we start to move into mastery, spiritual and emotional maturity, healing. We start to be guided then onto our path, our highest path. It's such a fun, engaging journey. So if you're interested in taking that journey, or you're not, you know, if you're interested in taking that journey and you want a mentor, you want a guide, I'd be honored to do that with you. I'm actually doing a live 7-week program, Reconnection, that starts on the 444 gateway, the 4th of the 4th, which is the galactic activation gateway. So it's a really powerful gateway. Each week we reconnect. Each week we're doing the healing work, reconnecting back to the body. We're learning the truth about the body, about the soul, how we go through that incarnation process. We're shedding light on those subconscious programs that have kept us stuck, that have kept us in misery. We are reclaiming lost soul fragments. And I do it through two different ways. It starts with an energy transmission. The first half of the session is me having a conversation with you, talking to you, using visuals so that you can start to integrate and embody and activate the codes and the remembrance within you, because everything that I teach, everything that I lead you to, guide you to, you already know within the body. It just needs to be remembered, reawakened. And the second half is through hypnotic guided meditation, which is such an amazing gift that we can give to ourselves. You know, meditation and connecting to the body in this way gives us so much. And I go into that in the program anyway. Anyway, if you feel guided, you feel resonant, and you want to work with me on that, the link is below. And if not, I will be releasing more videos anyway. You know, my mission is to fully come into wholeness, divine union within the body, to reclaim the highest self. And it is a journey. And whilst I've cleared out a lot of corruption, there is still more inside of me. Like I said, you know, I could see on that journey that I went with my friend, there was a reflection there back for me. But also what I discovered on that journey with my friend is how much healing I had also already done, because I was in so much trust that, you know, we were on a 7-week journey. We were planning as we go. My friend was, again, a great reflection for me. My friend was worrying, would the bus not turn up? Would it be cancelled? Would we not get across the borders? Lots of worries were coming up. She was planning for every single eventuality. And I just felt in absolute trust. I just knew that it would be fine. And I knew that if it wasn't fine, it would still be fine, because I knew that no matter what unfolded, that I was connected to the true self. I was connected to my soul and to source, and that would be guided and I would be led, and that I wasn't alone, that I had all these higher resources to plug into. And I just felt in so much trust. So I also could reflect and see the healing that I'd done. So whilst I was still seeing some shadows, which I was grateful for once I got over my little feeling sorry for myself and my little pity party that I went through for a little bit, and brought myself back to the center, back into the vow that I'd made to myself to be the gatekeeper of my reality, of my energy field, to be the authority in my field, to not hand over my power to anybody else. So yeah, so I could see that as well. So if you want to go on this journey, I'd be honored to do it with you. Check out the link below. And if not, I will be releasing more videos to help you on that journey also. So thank you.